Welcome to Slay the Gatekeeper. I'm your host, Courtney Johnson, and I am here to un-gatekeep the gatekept. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy. Well, Morgan, welcome to the podcast. Guys, Morgan's my attorney. I feel so cool and official to have an attorney.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you're here. Okay, so we were talking before this recording started. You were saying what drew you to me and my work, and I want to share what drew me to your work. Is when you think of attorney, you think of someone that's like some dude in a suit in like a stuffy office that's going to speak in ways that you don't understand and maybe like a little ego driven, making things seem really important. So speaking in legalese to kind of stroke their own ego. That's the picture I have in my mind of an attorney. And you really break all of that. You like shatter the whole image of an attorney. You are, welcoming and soft and kind and communicative, and just everything about you is the antithesis of what we think of a lawyer, of an attorney. And it's just so cool. It's so cool that you're like leading this way for other attorneys, especially female attorneys.
Yeah, absolutely. And other people who are in traditional fields that they don't really fit the mold of. And I agree. I don't fit the mold of a traditional attorney. But it's been the best because there's so many people like you who aren't looking for that traditional attorney. And I think as we're in this new age of entrepreneurship and we're shifting into this new paradigm, people are going to be looking for more people like me instead of the sticky suits and big egos.
What what made you even choose this career path?
I am a marketing undergrad, and then I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Marketing didn't feel totally aligned, but I loved the business world. I was actually really interested in environmental law whenever I first applied to law school. Lots of shifts throughout law school and after. I dabbled in civil rights law. I worked at the ACLU. I worked for multiple different firms, clerked for a judge. There were different things throughout my path until I was listening to the To Be Magnetic podcast and I heard my mentor, Grant. He is their attorney and he was on the podcast and I just loved what he was saying. I was so drawn to that type of client and a more innovative, spiritual, feminine approach. Obviously, he's a guy. So it's not exactly what I wanted to do, but he has been a perfect mentor and has really helped me shape where I'm going with my own firm. So I listened to him. I was super inspired and I've been working alongside him for a few years now. And now I have launched my own practice. So yeah, that's kind of me.
Wow, that's amazing. And I always say that if you feel called to content creation, if you feel called to speak or go on podcasts or whatever, and you don't do that, that is selfish because of things like this happening. Like if he was like, oh, I don't really want to go on this podcast, I'm scared to be seen, blah, 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 he would miss out on this opportunity to inspire you to take this
Yes.
whole career path. So anyways, side note, if you're considering, if you feel the pull to share your story in some way, usually there is some reason for that. And I think this is a great example.
Yeah. And on that note too, I just cold reached out to him. So if you feel called to reach out to somebody, that's also a sign that you need to take it too.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Well, we got some awesome cheat codes that I want to dive into. But first, I want to talk a little bit about some of the un-gatekeeping. So we got our cheat codes that are tactical, but there's, a lot of information that you've shared with me that is more on the un-gatekeeping side. And one of those things is that the wealthy don't work for money, they make money work for them. So I'm curious what this means in the wealthy people that you've seen and observed and worked with.
Yeah. So I actually first read about this concept in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I don't know if you've read that before. It's a classic. And I saw this chart and it really just breaks it down. It's a tax strategy. The rich, they own their own businesses, so they're not working for other people. So they earn their money and then they spend it on business expenses, and then they pay taxes. If
Mhm.
you're an employee, you are earning and then you're paying taxes, and then you're left with whatever is left over to spend. So it's essentially a tax strategy. And if you can figure out how to work for yourself, you can keep a lot more money than giving it away. So, and that's something that you've talked a lot about too, in terms of like going freelance or consulting. Like your employer doesn't want you to realize that you can make so much more money on your own. Yeah. So
Mhm.
that is a huge hack, is working for yourself and being able to funnel that spending and those tax dollars, reducing all of that from yourself. So,
Mhm.
you know, there's so many business expenses that you can write off that are truly valuable for your well-being in your life, and you can pay a lot less taxes.
Mhm. Yeah, even the self-development has been a huge one for me. Like I used to every
Yes.
education, up level of my skills, self-development, leadership training used to go, yeah, pay taxes, then pay for it. And now that's probably my biggest life expense, honestly, has been
Yeah.
self-development and education. So that's
Yes.
nice.
It is so nice, and you're able to invest that literally back into yourself
Mhm.
instead of putting it into somebody else. So, yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
think a great way to like begin this is, realize that it's a skill to work for yourself. It's a skill to be an entrepreneur. So you can dabble in the skill. You can start freelancing on the side. You can make
yes.
a digital product. Maybe you set up a booth at your farmer's market where you're selling your crafts like
Mhm.
one weekend. You can
Mhm.
build the skill slowly. I think a lot of people think there's this like big dramatic crescendo where they quit their job and then the next day they're this amazing entrepreneur. And it just doesn't happen like that.
No, no, not at all. And Grant with Framework, he was my like bridge job for a really long time. And so yeah, there's you don't have to take the jump immediately, but you can start dabbling in this. Like I was a 1099 contractor and still am
Mhm.
actually. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a much easier route.
Love it. Okay. Our next cheat code is that trademarks aren't optional if you're serious about your brand. Oh shit.
Mhm. I said it. They're really not. They are not optional if you're serious about your brand. If you are ready to take your business to the next level, you really need to have your brand protected. It's heartbreaking to see people build this huge thing and then they didn't protect it, and they are having to rebrand, or they're having to go pay huge legal fees to get their brand back. And you don't have to do it that way. If you are smart up front and see where this is going. Get it done early. It's totally worth it. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
1000% worth it. Anything that you're creating for your brand and yourself, you need to be protecting it, because especially in the day of social media, if if you're preparing to go viral, this is part of it, is making sure that your brand's protected. So when that happens, you're ready and somebody doesn't rip off your idea and you have to go chase them down. Like you will save so much money if you just do it properly from the beginning.
Yeah, this is a story for another day, but my first company I started with was a consumer packaged goods product company, and that happened to us. I didn't trademark, and it ultimately led to me having to rebrand, which ultimately led to the destruction of the company. So,
Yep.
fair warning.
Yep, you are one of many people who have that exact same story, and I get it. It's overwhelming. You don't know where to start whenever you're first starting your brand, but that's kind of what this is about, is uh yeah, ungatekeeping some of this stuff.
Love it. Well, okay. Next thing you want to ungatekeep is that general counsel isn't just for big companies. So when I think of general counsel, I think of like, yeah, massive Fortune 500 companies having their general counsel. Is this
Mhm.
something that is applicable to smaller companies, freelancers, individuals? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So even I offer something called a fractional in-house counsel. So for all of these companies which is a huge amount of companies who are in that middle tier of people, they don't need a lawyer full time, but they definitely need support, and they're bringing on employees. They're doing deals. They've got contracts that they need reviewed. I mean, your company is a great example of that. Like you've got teams around you. You need that support to make sure that your contracts are in place, your business is compliant with all registrations, filings. yeah, it's no longer just for those large companies. I think if you're starting a business, you definitely need an attorney in your corner. And we can tap into this a little bit later whenever we get to the cheat codes, but it doesn't have to be the same traditional billing system that we've seen. So the traditional legal system is built on a billing system. So it's in 6-minute increments and your time is billed that way. And I think that is very outdated. And so my solution to this is a fractional in-house counsel where I'm available as a resource for a small retainer and we can work together that way instead of, hey, I'm going to send Morgan a text about a question. Maybe I'll get a bill back that's $2,000 because she spent 3 hours on this. Who
Mhm.
knows? So, yeah, it's not
Mhm.
just for big companies anymore. If you are a scaling business or even just starting out, you need to make sure that your ducks are in a row legally and as you're expanding, as you're growing, making sure that your contracts are protected as your brand is growing, your IP is protected. Yeah, I think it's really important.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that this idea of like fractional work is also fractional consultation is applicable to a lot of fields. Like I have a
Yeah.
fractional chief operating officer. I think that if you have skills in operations, like finance, you could be a fractional chief financial
Yeah,
officer. There's even fractional CEOs. So, yeah, on one side, I want to ungatekeep that you can hire this type of person for your business, and also it might be an interesting career path for you too.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. Let's get into some tactical cheat codes. And oh my gosh, this first cheat code literally would have saved me, oh my god, so much in my career, and that is to always put it in writing.
Yes. No handshake deals. No, just send me a Venmo. Contracts really do save relationships and they save you so much money.
Mhm.
Like, so much money. And I get that contracts can feel really sticky, really formal, and you're like, oh, we're just talking. We don't need that. But it will save you so much energy in trying to become aligned after you're already in business. You can just get aligned at the very beginning. And if there's anything that's going to ruffle any feathers at the beginning, you know about it and you can deal with it before instead
Mhm.
of after you're already in business with somebody and then you're trying to work through something that isn't really working. Um, so another tip here is if you do have a verbal communication, always follow up. So if you've got a call or you jumped on a meeting, um, make sure that you follow up in an email or a text saying exactly what was discussed. So, hey, yeah, we're going to do that deal, $10,000, blah, blah, blah. Put that in an email to them right after you get off the phone, detailing everything that you talked about. It's better than not having a contract at all, but that would be step 1, and then definitely get a contract in place.
Totally. I had a friend, I got coffee with a friend yesterday and she was dealing with this exact thing. She was like, yeah, I got this new client. We had we had a Zoom call. You know, we didn't record it or anything. And I said that the price would be, I don't know, 5,000. And they came back a few months later. I'm like, okay, we're ready to go. We're ready to do this program. It's the time and it's $5,000. And they were like, wait, we thought you said $3,000. And it's just,
Mhm.
no writing, yeah,
And then
no
it's
no
he
handshake
said,
deals.
she said. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, need to have it written down for your own protection. Okay, Morgan, I literally make contracts with my partner all the time. Like if he is like, I am committing to doing these three things, I will make him write it down on a whiteboard and sign it and I take a picture of it. And then
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
I'm giving you
I
radical
love that
accountability.
about you.
It will even be for something so silly. He's like, my goal is to wake up and meditate for 10 minutes every day this week. And I'm like, write it down. I'm taking a picture. I'm
Sign it.
holding you to it. So you
I'm gonna
can't be
get
like, oh, I'm tired. No, I'm
yeah.
like, you're
Mm-mm.
committed.
You made a deal with yourself. Mhm.
Yeah, you made a deal with yourself, and I am holding you
As a
to
witness.
it. Yeah, I
I
think this
love
is
that. That's
also
so
really
funny.
important in your career too. If you have a full-time job and you are dealing with something a little uncomfy and you start documenting it ASAP, or let's say your manager says something verbally like, yeah, so in 3 months we're gonna reevaluate this raise. Like, okay, email in 3 months, put it on the calendar, put it in writing. Like, the corporate amnesia is real.
Yes. And yeah, I'm not so sure if it's totally amnesia or shadiness, but we can say it's amnesia.
Yeah, I've had many of those conversations of he said, she said, and yeah,
Yes. And
not
yeah, it can really be as simple as, hey, just following up on our conversation, detailing what we just discussed. XYZ. Great.
You know that feeling when nobody really gets what you're going through, when you're surrounded by all of these people, but you're somehow still feel alone? I lived that reality for years until I discovered the power of healing in community. Reinvigorate and Restore is a luxury 6-day retreat in Cape Town designed specifically for women who are ready to move beyond survival mode to begin living your best life truly and authentically. Imagine 6 days in Cape Town, April 14th through 19th, by the way, in a luxurious villa where everything is designed for your restoration. Morning yoga overlooking the mountains, sound healing sessions, authentic connection with people who understand your journey without explanation. Imagine 6 days with people who truly get it, who see you, hear you, and walk alongside you in your healing journey. Time is limited, so book your spot for April. Again, the retreat is April 14th through 19th, and you can visit survivorsriseretreat.com to book a call with Paula to learn more. Your people are waiting for you. Nexus Point is a best in class outsourcing company that helps business owners and entrepreneurs scale efficiently and profitably by leveraging the global talent pool. Founded by entrepreneurs like yourselves, Nexus Point uses its vast infrastructure to find, hire, and train best in class talent from around the globe. At just 20% of the cost of hiring locally, Nexus Point will provide you with pre-vetted talent with college degrees and at least 3 years of work experience, often with US-based business owners. From executive assistants to social media managers, customer service reps, data entry and research analysts, and other back office functions, Nexus Point can help take you and your business to the next most profitable level yet. Use the special link or mention Slay the Gatekeeper and have the $500 search fee completely waived. Delegation is so important, but it can be so hard to find the right talent. So I highly recommend checking out Nexus Point. Again, you can book a call at go.nexuspt.io/Courtney Johnson or visit the link in the show notes. Today's episode is sponsored by my Sunrise Content Club. I created Sunrise Content Club because I really desired accountability in my content creation. How it works is we meet on Zoom every single weekday from 8 to 9 a.m. We get on the Zoom, we play some fun music, we have a little mindful moment, and then I give you a content prompt. And we spend about 45 minutes working on this prompt together. In this time, you can ask questions, get feedback on your content. And at the end, we all share our wins and we also share our content that we have created during that time. So we all get an initial boost because we are liking and commenting on each other's posts. There's also a really fun and supportive group chat where you can ask questions, share your content, get accountability. The Sunrise Content Club is an incredible way to stay consistent in your content creation and have community support. It is especially helpful with folks with ADHD who find value in body doubling. For a very limited time, you can join the Sunrise Content Club for just $99 a month. This is a very special limited time founders rate, and I am so excited to see you guys there. Join the Sunrise Content Club today. Okay, also, this is reminding me, I actually have a whole cheat code in my book of career cheat codes that's coming out next summer about like when you get yourself into when you're in like a really uncomfortable situation, how to deal with it in the workplace. And it's like, you know, one of the parts is document. But now that I'm thinking about it, Morgan, I need to send you this chapter and get your legal opinion on the chapter too.
Yes, I got you.
Okay, I'm like literally going to email my editor right after and be like, can I show this to my attorney? Because I think we need an expert opinion. Okay, I'm going to come back to that. But yeah, it has, this section also has like resources. It's like, here's a list of resources if you feel like you're being discriminated against at work. So I probably should run this by you.
Yes, you definitely should. I'll check those out.
Okay, beautiful. And then you can be a credit in my book. Yay!
There we go. I'm so excited for your book.
Me too. Okay. Cheat code number 2, secure your name early.
Yes, we kind of touched on this, but especially in the viral social media age we live in, it is never too early to secure your brands. People are always like, when's the best time? Like, if you've got a brand that you feel strongly about, now is the time to do it. So yeah, I would always double check, look, obviously do like a Google search, check on any domains, socials. The last thing some people don't realize, you can check the USPTO trademark office. That is where you want to look if you're looking at trademarks. I know there's different searches you can do, but literally the USPTO trademark office, you can run a search for every trademark that they have registered.
Hmm. Yeah, I also want to add to that, especially with content creation, be careful who owns your content. There's a lot of apps and stuff that's like, you can get a free product if you send us a picture of you using it. And that's great and that's fun, but
Uh-huh.
they might own your face and your likeness and this image forever. And it might be on a Times Square billboard, which you might be excited about, but also you might not know
And
about.
yeah, and if you're not gonna get paid for it, then you might not be as excited about it. All you got was like a bottle of, whatever.
Yeah, like a bottle of serum or something. I see that happen
Literally.
to so many people. And yeah, people really get fucked over with brand deals a lot. If it's like, yeah,
Yes.
I'm so excited, I'm getting $1,000, and then it's like, yeah, but they're using your face on national TV for now and
Yeah, they're
forever.
they're making millions. So yeah, great, you got $1,000. But yeah, that's another thing with content creators. Having like an affiliate contract that most big brands probably will have you sign one for them, but even being aware of what goes into those terms is really important. And making sure that it's reviewed by an attorney probably before you sign it.
Mhm. Cheat code number 3, your IP is the business. Ooh, what does this mean?
Yes, yes. So you talk a lot about brands, and like building your own brand, like that. Like that is your business, your brand, what you're protecting. So whether it's the name of your business, your logo, um, courses that you're creating, programs, anything like that, that is your business. So making sure that it's protected is so important.
Hmm. Love it. Yeah, it's all your own intellectual property. Like and again, like if you see growth, if you are on a growth trajectory, it is so important because I assume it would be a lot easier to figure it all out when you're smaller rather than like after you blow up and there's more
Exactly.
implications.
Exactly. And there's a way to really lay the foundation. It can really be so easy. Like it doesn't have to be as complicated, and it in fact is way more complicated if you're doing it down the line.
Hmm.
Especially if you have to do a rebrand or anything else along those lines. It's just much easier to get your solid foundation from the beginning so you're
Totally.
actually able to grow.
Totally. All right. Cheat code number 4 is LLCs work if you use them right. Tell me more.
Yes. So LegalZoom is probably not enough.
Hmm.
So filing it is step one. You also need to maintain it. And you also need to have the proper agreement. So you're going to want to make sure you have a proper operating agreement. Even if it's just yourself individually, this is key. This is your internal governing document. So this is like basically the contract of of the entity that you've formed. So especially in it's important as a single member LLC, but it's even more important if you're going into a business partnership. So this can really detail everything. So if there's a buyout, if there's how debt is prioritized, how payback is prioritized, services or other money that you've contributed, you can break down everything in this document. If there anything comes up down the line, you always can refer back to it, and this is kind of your guidepost
Hmm.
for the structure of your entity. Another thing you need to ensure is that you are maintaining separate finances. So, maintain clean books. So, if you've got your personal entity or your personal, and then you've got your entity, making sure that the business expenses are fully running through the business versus, commingling funds.
Hmm.
So
Totally.
you want to make sure that you're actually using it right by keeping that separate paper trail.
Hmm. Yeah. And one thing I've learned is also making sure you
Mm.
don't do that with the different businesses you have. Bad, bad.
Yes, you shouldn't do that. Yeah. If you've got multiple entities, make sure you have everything running very cleanly through each channel.
Hmm. How do you feel about like the emotions behind this? Like I feel like this happens a lot in finance, taxes, legal, where it's almost so overwhelming that people are like, I can't do this because I don't like, like I feel like it's very
Yes.
much of a shut down type feeling, or it can be.
Hmm.
How are you like addressing that with clients? And do you think that other attorneys do that or don't do that? Because I've definitely felt that.
Yes. I mean, I think it's not an overstatement to say that the legal field is extremely overwhelming, and inaccessible. And I think it was honestly created to be that way,
Mhm.
to keep people out. So, yeah, of course
Mhm.
it's overwhelming. But making sure that you have somebody on your team who can break it down more simply and speak to you like an actual human,
Mhm.
and not like a legal robot is definitely important. So you should fully understand, even if you don't understand all of the legal terms, you should be able to understand what is happening in your business.
Mhm.
And I think as a business owner, it's really important to be able to understand those, even if you're, outsourcing your legal, which I highly recommend you do because you're probably not a lawyer. So, probably shouldn't be doing that yourself. Um, but just having a general understanding of your business.
Mhm. And you have a checklist, right, that people can get that kind of go through some of this?
Yes, yeah, I've got a legal checklist. I'll send it to you and we can get that up for you guys too.
Yay, fun. Okay, we can make sure that we link that in the notes because I think that'd be a great place to start of just like getting a pulse
Yes,
check at where you're at, seeing what help you might need. And also, when you do hire an attorney, you could bring them that checklist and be like, I'm solid on these things. I have no idea what these things are. Like, it could be a good
exactly.
jumping off point.
Exactly. It's a great jumping off point and it's pretty simple. I think it's relatively easy to wrap your mind around, once you break it down and break it out.
Totally. Um, okay. Cheat code number 5. This one was really mind-blowing to me, and that is that legal doesn't have to be expensive. Like I feel like for a lot of people, just the idea of like an attorney or legal, like maybe someone starting a freelance graphic design business, they what's in their head might be like, "Oh, how am I going to pay someone 5, 10, $20,000 a month when I'm only making $5,000 a month?"
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I do think the traditional legal field has been pretty expensive. I kind of touched on that like billable hours structure that most firms operate out of. But we are doing something more innovative at my firm. So, it doesn't have to be expensive as it usually is. So
Mhm.
we're able to utilize technology, utilize systems to get this stuff out much quicker. So my time is actually spent on legal matters and not all of the other fluff that attorneys also spend their time on and they bill you for.
Yeah, how are you like implementing like AI and technology into your work?
um, oh gosh, I mean, it's kind of everywhere. I mean, I run AI through almost everything, like, yeah, obviously not like confidential client
Mhm.
information, but I mean, that is usually my first resource, whenever I'm drafting an email or even this, like, this was like definitely used
Mhm.
AI to help me prepare these cheat codes. So yeah, I use it all the time. I love it.
Totally. Yeah, I think that AI that will minimize labor. Like I had a client last year that was a legal startup for like NDAs, and he was basically I was ghostwriting for him, and he was basically saying like NDAs, they are so expensive for kind of nothing, and being able to use AI is going to help like attorneys be able to charge smaller fees for NDAs when they're not something that
Yes.
matters like super duper, and could make legal like help just more accessible. And I could see that like roll out in a lot of different aspects of legal work.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that. Okay, cool. Beautiful. Well, Morgan, where can people find you? And if people are like, okay, yo, I definitely need an attorney, how can they work with you?
Yeah, so I've got a few ways to work with me. We can set up a consultation. I do free consultations just to make sure it is aligned. You can find that on my website. I'll drop that, but it is ipanemalaw.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Morgan Ipanema. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. And yeah, we can jump on a consult, make sure it's a right fit, exactly figure out what your needs are. And then I do LLC formations, contracts, trademarks. And then I also offer the fractional in-house counsel for other businesses that are growing and need more legal support.
Love that. And guys, I know Morgan's target audience, and if you're listening to this, you are in Morgan's target audience. So
Yes, absolutely. My target audience is innovative entrepreneurs who are really creating something new. I feel like I'm creating something new with my law firm, and I want to partner with people who are equally creating new things in our new world.
yeah, I also want to share that you're a mom, and I just feel like that's so resonant. Like when I found out you're a mom, I was like, oh, I trust you and
Yes,
I want to work with you and I just get
yes,
you, you know? I am
yes,
not a mom yet, but I
yes.
think a lot of the listeners would probably be like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got an 11-month-old baby girl, and yeah, another thing with like having my own firm, obviously the
Mhm.
flexibility has been amazing. I'm able to work on my own time. Um, yeah, it, being able to work for yourself and be a parent is a game changer.
Yeah. You're like truly the energy that you bring into your work is so like beautiful and light and kind and just like it's really awesome. Anyways, you're quite an expander for me as well because I wanna be a mom and I wanna be like you.
Ah, stop! I want to be like you.
Well, we're learning from each other. So
Yes, we
thank
are.
you, Morgan, for coming on the podcast. Again, I'm going to link all Morgan's information and I'm going to link the checklist. I think that's a really good place to start.
Yeah.
And we will hopefully see you back here soon.
Yes, I will come back anytime.
Okay, y'all, if you liked this episode, you would love my Patreon, okay? You get exclusive access to me, exclusive content, tons of other resources, and a lot of juicy shit, okay? So I hope to see you on my Patreon.